Now moving on to our next question, which a few of us have touched on already, which is what the hell is going on in Criston Cole's head? And again, just like Rhaenyra, you can discuss different sections of time that he's making his decisions, his actions. But yeah, tell us what you think is going on in Criston Cole's head. This time we're gonna start with Solar.
All right, so what's going on in Sir Vavoom of Idiot Face? I'm looking at the character as a whole, okay? He is pretty much he is from one of the lower houses. He is the closest thing that we get to one of the jumped up small folks, kind of like Sir Davos, okay? And I see him caught up in the propaganda of what it means to be a knight and what it means to have honor and all that stuff. Going, I came from nothing, I got everything, and I screwed it all up. And him kind of scrambling to hold on to a belief system that isn't living up to the real world, you know? It's not really living up to the experience that he has in life, the universe, and everything. And he's just grasping onto this belief system. You know, do I believe that he is in love with Rhaenyra? Honestly, I think he caught some feelings for Ray Ray, but not enough to be like, forsake everything and run away with me where I can be a farmer and you can help me milk cows. You know, I don't think that, I don't think that he loved her that much, nor did I think that he thinks she loves him that much. But it was, I screwed up and I gave up everything. And if you love me, you will give up everything too. And she's like, this ain't love. Like, you knew what this was before we came in, but come on, man, we can do this. Like, you don't have to do your vow of chastity and you'd be banging a queen. Everybody wants to bang a queen. Like, queen has no problem catching a dick. And I'm saying I'm reaching for yours. Come on, bruh. And he's like, no, it goes against my system of beliefs that aren't serving me very well and all of this stuff. So, you know, honestly, I see him in a very, what was it? In a deleted scene of The Godfather, he said, don't be ashamed of your wealth because shame or disdain for money is the rich people's way of making sure that the poor doesn't get it. And since he is from one of the lower houses and the lower classes, his illusions to what it means to be a knight and to have honor and all of those fairy tales bumping his head against real life just had him spun. Like, what I was watching there was a dude whose entire paradigm just broke. You know, that's what I saw.
All right, what about you, Constance? You're muted.
Thank you. So I think that Criston Cole's mindset was that he saw an opportunity to redeem what he lost. He's like, his honor. It's the same thing with Robb Stark marrying because he got a girl pregnant rather than actually falling in love with her. He felt that this was his duty his honor demanded that he marry her to satisfy that concept. And so this was the same kind of thing. He's like, I've been sleeping with you. My honor demands that I make you my wife. Come away with me and let's go do this. She's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Why would I give up what I have? It's like what Solar was saying. You could still be my guard and bang me and we'll have a good time. We don't have to change anything. But he couldn't accept that. She was rejecting his worldview and in such rejecting him. And so when we get to the wedding, when Joffrey starts basically making threats, well, thinly veiled threats. I don't know if he meant to be threatening, but it came across as threatening. Like I know what you're doing with her. And if you want to keep this up, then we're going to make an arrangement, whether you like it or not. He saw that as the final affront to his honor, that somebody found out other than the queen. It's one thing when you confess. It's another thing when someone comes to you with what they know you did. And he saw no way out. There was no keeping his honor at that point. And I think he lost control. I don't I'm bisexual, but I can't speak about from a gay perspective completely. But I thought it was more or less Criston saw his honor was completely stained, and this was the person that did the final straw was Joffrey, which is why he beat him into oblivion. It was hard to watch. And now that Morgan points it out, there probably was a perspective of that in there, that cis male fear of the homosexual, which I hope wasn't the case. I don't think the director intended that, but if they did, it came across pretty strong. So I think that it was more or less his honor was his main motivation, and having that last little bit stripped away from him by somebody else that he didn't know, that he thought was an outsider, did it in for him. So that's my take. It's not the strongest, but that's what I thought he was thinking.
I mean, there's a whole lot not happening in Criston Cole's head. I mean, he's like, I feel like a very one-track mind of like my honor, but my honor, it's my honor, and like I feel like he's gripping onto that so much, and just like it's the only thing that's on his mind. So like if anything around him is messing with that honor and it doesn't go his way, it's like all of a sudden he's just like losing it over just honor. And you know that like all the pieces were setting up for a perfect, you know, power couple of Rhaenyra and Laenor having like a good like agreement with each other, and they were just gonna like run Westeros. Both of them have their side thing going on. Everything was gonna be all good, and then Criston though had to ruin it with his honor. Like, how many times have we seen a story in Westeros just kind of like go to shit because someone was like, yeah, but what about my honor? So I think like kind of like Solar was saying, I think that he just like has fallen into this like, I think the honor has been put on a pedestal for like especially lowborn, like, you know, people who don't have nobility in their family, who aren't knights. They're like, they see the honor is like the only way for them to reach certain heights. So I think that he like has really fallen into that, like, just I think he's in that pit basically. But yeah, that's kind of what I think is going on in Criston Cole's head. What about you, Uzma?
Before this episode, it felt like Criston Cole was very honorable. I really liked him in that. But in this episode, he seemed really petty and selfish to me. Like Solar said earlier, if you felt guilty and you are going to kill yourself, just jump off the moon door. But if he was like, no, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to die, but I'll take you down with me. He didn't have to tell Alicent about it, and things won't have gotten worse. But he did, and I think that's what his motivation was. Yes, a part of it was honor, and part of his he was selfish, that he was only thinking about his honor, like correcting his mistakes. He wasn't thinking about Rhaenyra. So in that sense, that's why it felt to me that he doesn't really love her. Because if he loved her, he probably would have thought about from her point of view. He would have thought about what she wants. But he was like, no, I made this mistake, and now you should run away with me and help me correct my mistake. So I didn't really like Criston Cole in this. What about you, Morgan?
Yeah, I think Criston Cole in this episode really proves, like Solar was saying, that he's in a world that is not his own, right? The hopped up small folk, right? He doesn't know what's going on. He's going off the stories of what he thinks is supposed to be how the world works, but he doesn't know how this world works at all, and he's just knows that he's the hero of the story. Obviously, he is the knight, so everything is really about him. Now, this shows very well when the Queen is talking about Rhaenyra and Daemon, but she doesn't specifically say Daemon. And so, what does he do? He inserts himself into the story in his own head. He is the center of the story. He is the main character. Therefore, everything that she is saying and everything that anybody is saying is about him, his honor, his reputation, his cloak.
Well, the shoe fit, so he put it on.
He did. Right. Yeah. The shoe fits, you put it on, you marry the prince. Wait, wrong story.
Yeah. No, I got to disagree with you on that one, Morgan. Having been someone who's made massive mistakes in their lives, and somebody is talking to me about something completely different. That whole thing of, oh man, they know. I just got busted. Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah, sure. yeah. No, that's the thing. That's definitely the thing. That's what I saw with him. Because he didn't know about he didn't really know about the rumor
And the
that had
Damon
gone
stuff.
on. Yeah, so he didn't know what she was talking about. So when she was like, yeah, there have been some stuff, and there have been some talk about the princess, and kind of giving it up a little easy, and he's like, yo, no, you're right, it was me, I did it. And she was like, what? Like, what? So I saw the guilt messing him up. I think if he had known about the Damon thing, it would have gone completely different. So I don't think that was him inserting everything. I think that was him seeing that he got busted when he actually didn't.
I don't agree with you there. I kind of see where you're coming from. I think it would have gone a little bit different, but I think when this particular man is faced with a decision about honor or dishonor, he doesn't really focus on the honor. Because guess what? Running away with the princess is not actually regaining his honor. It's not. It's about getting what he wants, which is her all to himself, and not having to deal with the consequences of breaking his honor. No, everything that he's focusing on is the consequence, not the honor. The perspective of other people, how it affects him. It's not about whether he is honorable or not. It's about the perception that he is honorable and whether he has to live with it or not.
Oh, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing that he was fighting for his honor. I'm just saying I don't think that he was making himself the main character of the story out of egotism when he was talking with Queen Alice.
Yeah. No, I get that.
All.
I understand. What I'm saying is that even if Alicent had been clear that she was talking about Damon, I'm almost certain he still would have come forward. Because it was his story. He's like, what? No, Damon didn't do that. That's me. I'm the hero of the story. I got the princess. Because it's not really about honor. It's about, and at that point, he's being self-deprecating because he's been rejected. And the best way that a good story like this ends is you get rejected and you die. And what does he do for the rest of the episode? He tries to die.
Oh, he broods like Achilles in his tent.
Right. Well, he tells Alicent, hey, I did
Kill
it.
me.
He then starts a fight in the middle of a wedding reception. He then literally goes to kill himself. Everything he does is a death wish because the girl he wanted didn't say yes. All right. That's the end of my rant there.